Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Patty of Patty Mac Knits, and in today's video I'm going to show you this mitt project I've been working on. This was like loosely based on the 21 Colors hat. I kind of was thinking in terms of this being like a gauge swatch for the hat. Because I read a lot of the notes on Ravelry had all kinds of different things they were saying in terms of gauge and stitches and on and on and on. So I decided I'm going to do striped mitts, and I got really into doing them, and I mixed yarn, and I just really had fun with this. But what I want you to see is this one I have knitted. I've done the finishing work. This is the back side, and I've blocked it. And look at how different they are. And I also want to draw your attention to the number of ends. Isn't that insane? Look at this, it's crazy. Just from those few little bit of stripes, I have all these ends that I have to deal with. So I'm going to show you a couple of, we're gonna just finish a couple of them. I'm not doing the whole thing on camera because we'll be here for hours, but I just want you to kind of see what's involved in these striped projects. But the reward is this gorgeous, beautiful fingerless mitt. Isn't that wonderful? I used my jogless join technique to make this a nice even as possible join. I don't think you're ever going to have anything that's perfect. It's just not the nature of what we're doing. It's a handmade product, but we can certainly do our best to make the nicest, most even finished work that we can. You can see if I slip on the unfinished, unblocked mitt, that if I can get into it, I don't know if I can get into it because it's got so many strands. You can see how this really needs some work. So we're going to look at how to finesse some of that so that it finishes out beautifully. Because I'm super excited to wear these. We're coming to the end of winter as I'm filming this video, and I really need to get them done. The yarn that I used in this, this is the recommended yarn for the 21 Colors hat, as is this one and this one. The yellow, the light blue, and the darker blue. The orange and the red that I put in here, that's actually some Cascade 220 that I had, and I held it double, and so that's why you can see this sort of like pulling a little funny, because they're different gauges. But you know what, it just, I don't know, I wanted the other colors and I didn't want to go back and buy more of this, and I had this in my stash. I'm really in this place where I'm using what I have in my stash right now and making it work. I will also tell you that in the 21 Colors hat, it calls for this one row stripe, and I'm kind of lukewarm on that. It was really, really super hard, and then when you get to the join, that was not easy to get something that was neat. So honestly, when it comes time for me to do my 21 Colors hat, it may not be a 21 Colors hat. It may be something closer to this. Because this just works better for me. Okay, so let's look at this. Oh, this nightmare of ends. I mean, gosh, stripes. I love stripes, but you really do wind up having an awful lot of finishing to deal with, because every time you change colors, you have two ends. You have the old color and the new color. So every time. Let's see here, let's get the thumb out. Okay. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Turn it so you can really see. So you can see, like, you know, it's 2 colors every time. And then on the cascade, I held it double because one strand, it wasn't quite thick enough, so I did 2. So in this case, it's 3 strands whenever I do the cascade. Oh, you know what? And the gray, that was also cascade. I just had so much of it in my stash and I wanted to use it. And I just really liked how this worked. But, oi, the finishing. This one's been done for a while and this has been sitting here. And so now it's time. So, I'm big on taking your time with finishing because I feel like if you do a nice job on your finishing, that is what really makes your knitted piece look handcrafted. I think that there is a difference between handcrafted and homemade, and the extra effort that you put into finishing your projects and being neat and consistent with your stitches and all of that, that is what makes a project handcrafted, in my opinion. So, okay, so here we have these 2, and what we're going to do is we're just going to really tighten those up. And I'm going to take the yellow. Now, what you can do if you really want to make sure that there's no hole where you join is you can knot. And, you know, a lot of people are like really anti knots and knitting. You know, what can I say? I think sometimes a good knot is a good thing. Okay. And now I'm going to weave in that end. And I'm just going to come up here. This is a stockinette fabric, so I'm on the back side of the stockinette, and that's all I'm doing. Okay, and then stretch it out. And then you can look on your right side and you can't see where any of that is. And so we're going to just nip that off. And you know what? It's okay if there's a little tail in there. It's fine. Now let's do the blue one. The blue one, I'm going to take it into the ribbing. So let's see what we're going to do. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to, let's make sure we're in the right place. Catch it under. And you're just going to, I have a video on weaving in your ends and ribbing. This is like super important because ribbing is just like such a common thing that we all make. And then I'm going to come a stitch above, just like in duplicate stitch. And then we turn and we're in the right place. And we're going to start again. Always think about this. It should be like really easy. You're just swinging that edge of that needle out. And there we go. That's it. And stretch it out. And nip. There you go. Now to get our edge here, you can see where I'm pulling. So we're gonna come, I want this to be as nice and neat as possible. So you can see it's coming from there. So I'm gonna wanna come back and just come under those stitch legs and pull. And then we're gonna work up here. We're just doing that same technique. I learned this from Stacy on Very Pink, and it is a lifesaver. Pull it through. So, you know, when you're weaving in and you're doing your finishing, there's a lot of just kind of pulling and tugging to kind of get things even. And you're just gonna pull and tug and get things so that they're nice and even and where you want them, and then you will just continue doing that when you block. It's all about getting everything even. Doing that right? So I told you, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. Okay, there we go. All right, that's like one section. And so I have to like do that all the way up. But I thought I would share just that little bit with you. And yeah, and then I'll get them blocked and you'll get to see them all finished. Let me show you this wrong side. A lot of times people wonder about right side and wrong side. And I mean, to me, this is like a perfect representation. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Although I know this is sort of in fashion. People like this reverse stockinette and they like to see the color changes, but I'm kind of old school. I like it nice and clean and neat, but you know, this is an option. If you wanted this to be the side that you show as your project, I mean, it is kind of cool, actually. It's sort of cool. What I would do is, if you wanted that to be your right side, then I would fish all the ends through and weave on the other side, and then you won't have any ends that show through. But that's step one. So I guess that's all I'm going to show you in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, be sure that you like it and follow and all of that good jazz, and I will see you next time. All right, happy knitting.